Okay, hello. Today we're talking about map rando tech, starting with can stutter water Shinecharge. We're gonna build up to that. This is all about short charges, and specifically the new tricky one that's come out as part of map rando is the stutter water Shinecharge. And that's because it's a little unintuitive. Like a normal short charge looks like this, where you go stutter, tap, 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 tap. But a water stutter water Shinecharge is hold run the whole time, and then do a stutter, and that's it. And that is going to abuse gravity physics, so we're going to be talking about that a little bit too. So I started in the landing site room. We have all the items. I'm going to be turning that off. We're also on the practice hack. I don't have everything set up yet because I want to just show out how you do that in the practice hack as well. Another big feature is going to be the room layout option, and that lets you change this next door. This would be the tube room, and we're going to turn that into aqueduct. And I'm going to do all my testing in landing site connected to aqueduct, because those are really good testers. So let's get started. We're going to build up, as I've said, so starting with short charges. So two components of open air short charge is stutter, and so this is you don't break your run animation is what you're doing here. And as long as you don't break the run animation, you use fewer run tiles total is the goal of the stutter. And this will come back later when we get into water. But right now, we're focused on the stutter. And in air, you can chain multiple of these. So you can do up to 4. And the common way to work with this right, kitty, is to do your 4 stutters, or however many you're doing, and then start tapping. I'm not that good at it, so that's just how it works. Trust my words. And then theoretically, I think you hold run at the start too, before the first stutter. Be like super optimal. But the first stutter gives the big benefit, and the ones after that, less so. And then other than that, we have taps. So, when you're looking at taps, you look at the dash counter when we do it. You see it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 up in the top left. No. Another way would be to look at, are they called pants? Don't make me look it up, because I don't remember where to look. Be missing. Magic pants. And that'll show you how to tap on the right frame, or use Shinetune. Shinetune's the best in every situation. You can Shinetune. But for this tutorial, it's important to know when the first tap is. And like an easy way to do it is to make it so that your first stutter ends about when you're pressing the first tap. And then every point after that, you want to hold run. That's when you first press run, is on that first tap. And then you need to have run held at those specific frames that you do the other taps, 4 total taps. Once you get 4 taps in, that's when you get short charge speed. Okay, we did it. We've rambled. Let's get into the not beginner stuff. So here we have room layout setup. So we're going to go to left, right. Because, yeah. This is how we're going to connect landing site to landing site lower. This can be the doormat here. To pink meridia aqueduct lower. That's the save door. We're going to turn off all my items. Just speed. Because if I have gravity, what's the point? And so here is the first piece of map rando tech. You just hold run, and eventually you get your speed, your shine spark. And that's not obvious that that's how it works until you're playing randomized room connections. So there's a bit of a tech requirement on that called Can Water Shinecharge, I think. But all you do, you just run through the door. And this runway is really long. So eventually you get there. Get your shine spark. So here's a little bit more technical stuff you can do around this. I have extra runway here on the left of the door. Then I can just do my stutter 2, looks like. And that'll put me halfway towards the shine spark. That'll do half the work. So I'm going to get it a lot faster. The other thing you can do is be right against the door, but not pixel perfectly against the door. And this means you'll have low run speed when you enter the room. So the complicated thing about these water shine charges is you have to manage your run speed. Because when you're in the dry room, you're going to be running really fast. But when you're in the water room, your animations will be very slow. I don't know how to show the difference, but once you hit water, your animations slow down a lot. Let's say half. I don't know how much exactly. Yeah, we still have the dash counter up. So you can see that it's going to take longer to hit those 4 frames. Okay. Versus going the other way. Here. And that's all because of the animation frame. The animation cycle speed. So what you want to do, the animation cycle speed, it's tied to your dash state, I guess, but not to your run speed. Right? That's how you can do short charges and not go as far, because it's not tied to your run speed at all. And that's why when you enter the water room, you want to have low run speed. You can either do the short charge in the dry room, so it's most of the way done, or you can have low run speed into the water room. That's how we come back to the topic that introduced the subject. Talking about the start of the subject. Okay. If you do like no kind of taps or short charge, but hold run, then that's when you go very far before getting your short charge. Okay. Compared to low run speed entering the room. Here. Before it was, so we save this many tiles by entering with low run speed. When you are in air like this, your run speed is going to be increasing. I guess we can look at it. Horizontal speed. It's going to speed up really fast. Right, it's up to 8. But if you are in a water room, it's going to hit a pretty low cap. Like the acceleration's low and the max is 3.2. And as you saw from here, I got to almost 9 just running. But if you enter the water room with a higher than 3.2 number, then it stays at that number. And then also, I think if you enter without dash state, it's going to be lower. Without dash state at all, it's a point C. But that doesn't matter. You need dash state to get your short charge. Look at that, 2.C, no dash state. That's why for the following steps, it's going to be important to hold run and forward as we enter the transition, because we're about to get into the stutter water short charge. Charge. So, the intuitive thing to do would be to do your short charge on the left side and then be most of the way done. Then do your shine spark. But another key piece to this is you cannot tap when you're in water. Holding forward will speed you up to your speed cap the whole time. And that means tapping doesn't do anything. No reason to tap. You just can hold run the whole time. That ties back to we don't have gravity suit and you're underwater, so you can't really get dash speed or dash state. And the whole water physics system just doesn't help with speeding you up. Okay, so now the important part. We talked about how taps aren't going to be helpful. So what about the stutter? So the stutter is when you run through your animation cycle without interrupting it. And it's going to reduce your distance needed for the shine spark. So we do a little bit of speeding up as part of this, and then you slow down as part of the stutter, then you speed up again, and the animation cycle is running that entire time. And that is the part we are going to abuse here. If you have more initial speed before the stutter, then it takes longer to slow down. Normally that doesn't matter, but in this case we're going to a water room. And in water rooms, animations take longer. We're saying twice as long. It just takes longer. So in this case, you want to go in with a big run speed, do the stutter as late as you can, and you can do almost the entire short charge during that stutter. And this is the tech that we are showcasing right now, here at the end of the tutorial. So if you have more run when you enter the room, it's going to make for an easier stutter, because you have more speed to slow down. We can see that having a lot of speed still means I go really deep into the room. So you actually want to balance. So here, if I have this many tiles. I think I stuttered a little early. This should be a better one. This is a really good stutter. It enters with a lot of speed. And about when the stutter is finished, you have the full short charge. So in this case, that's still too much speed entering the room. So what you would want to do is stutter early, or do a bad stutter. That will lose a lot of the speed before you get started, but you still get most of the stutter benefit. So all I'm doing here is I'm holding forward I tap release and then repress it really quickly, and I hold run the entire time. You hold run the whole time to build up that speed, and after the stutter, it doesn't matter that you're still holding run. Like, you can't tap or anything. So you just hold run the entire time. That's all you do. This distance, you can probably still get most of your short charge in, right? So it's not too beneficial still at this distance, if you can short charge well. If you can't short charge well, then stutter is actually kind of hard to do. If you're watching my inputs here, you might see that the release and repress is very fast. And that's part of doing the trick really well. You want that 1 frame off and then 1 frame repress, ideally. It's only when you have excess runway that you can do it poorly. But in this case, it works better to do it poorly. So it's like multiple frames not holding forward. There is a requirement that you hold forward into the door. Probably that you hold dash too. Alright. I remember the forward requirement more. So a very common thing to have happen is to release either too late or just not press forward fast enough. And then you don't have dash state and you die to the snail. Right. So you can see the input display, I don't have forward held. We get the stutter, but I don't have dash state. So that means we can't kick the snail. Okay. So what we want for this deck is you want about 2 tiles. This is what we're calling 2 tiles. And this is good for almost every situation, is 2 tiles. Away from the door. But it means you want to do a good stutter. And this is, like, really close to the door, so it's hard to actually get the taps in and get a good stutter. Like, this should be a good one. Right, so we're not even past the wall here. But this is why I try to go for always, is 2 tiles from the door. You can have more runway, and it'll be, as I said earlier, where you want to do a worse stutter to get optimal distance. But 2 tiles is what I try to aim for every time. But I'm also pretty good at the release and repress. I'm playing on emulator now, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job of getting it. Still. And if you're closer than that, then it just becomes really hard to build up enough speed to get the benefit. And also it's really difficult to get the repress. Sometimes you stop, or you lose too much speed. And then you just stop entirely if you don't build up enough speed before reaching the transition. But if you're 1 tile or less, or less than 2 tiles, it becomes pretty hard to do the trick at all. It looks like in that case I can get the stutter. Just didn't release. As for pressing the button, to me it feels like I don't release the button. I just take the weight off of the button, but still hold it down. On those attempts, I was losing all of my speed before the door, and that doesn't give the stutter effect. Good one. But you'll want about 2 tiles for these. There are a few rooms where you have one tile, but there's a bunch of runway on the other side. So you do get some benefit. And it'll be enough to be better than just holding run the whole time from the door. Whoops. So if you are... I think you have to be more than a quarter pixel away from the door, or else an arm pump pushes you into the transition, you don't get dash state. And that's just if you're holding run through the door. Yeah, something like here. If you're just holding run, you want to be closer than this. But if you're doing this stutter, you want your full runway that you can work with when it's a small runway. And then you do your stutter. Maybe I got it. And we're still getting that much run speed save. Right. So again, 2 tiles. That gives you enough speed to make the trick not too difficult to do. It gives you good speed entering the room so that you don't run too far before slowing down. You still get most of the time saved. And it gives you a really short charge. That's why it's good. I don't know what order to do this in, but I want to show off Precious Room. Right. The Precious Room is one that you can't do from 1 tile. You need 2 tiles more. Did I save? I did. Don't kill me. Yeah, I guess we gotta take out the side, right? Either this or use a different room. Oh, now we got vanilla bugs. Okay, going to a different room. The other room is Crab Shaft. We're still 2 tiles away. I didn't hold run that time. So the end of the runway is going to be this wall here. Well, I did the trick, but I didn't press down. And you can see that you can get too much run speed, so you gotta balance it a bit. But this room, Precious Room, are the ones where it's going to be hard to do. This room and Precious Room, and also the crab tunnel with the green gate and all the crabs. Those ones are listed as more precise. Get into the wall. Yeah, these ones are just harder than the others. You have to do them more precisely. So let's go back to Aqueduct and talk about the other kind of underwater Shinecharge. Yeah. And this one we turn gravity on. I'm gonna turn on space jump too. I think you can do it up here. So it's like the door effect, right? But we're gonna turn off gravity suit. So just like a gravity jump, you can turn off a gravity suit to get it. But it's pretty hard to time it. Either that or I'm a lot less practiced at it. I don't know if this works even. Especially with the way that I won't have gravity on. Maybe we'll go down here first. So you do it the same way. You hold run the whole time. You do a really quick release and press. But you need to turn off gravity. Then once you get your blue, you keep holding run, but you release... you keep holding forward, but you release dash. And so now we're going to be going really slow. Now we're 2D. You could get up here with a gravity jump for sure. And then this doesn't really have many uses yet. But it's a way to get really slow movement speed with gravity suit. And also, it lets you get a really tight short charge in these situations where you're underwater and trying to do a short charge. And maybe the only one that I've seen, and it's still not even really useful, is an exaggerated. You can do it in the acid. Right. Here's exactly what I was trying to show off. I missed it. In this case, I stopped holding run and turned gravity back on, like before I reach full run speed. Yeah, this. But this is something that you can't do like any other way. You need another item. We can get this, and then the tutorial's over. So ask any questions right now. My chat. It doesn't help that the snail's right there. And we're in. In this case, you could snail clip up. But we broke that block. We sure did. And that's the tutorial. Hope you enjoyed.